And we are live. How's it going, everybody? If there's anyone here, I didn't announce the live stream, so I'm just gonna start playing and see if someone shows up. I want to talk about Unreal Engine 5. This is like really, really bad, and it needs to change, man. It absolutely sucks. So I'm gonna be playing for a while till someone shows up. And if you watch this later, just skip. Yeah, I didn't have time today to make a video, so I'm just gonna do this live stream to get some content for the channel. I've been playing lately, so when I play games, I don't have a lot of time to make videos. It's difficult to do YouTube and play games at the same time, plus all the things that I need to do. Yeah, as a YouTuber that needs to get content out, especially gaming related content. Yeah, I want to play. That's why I do this, because I like it. So I've been playing lately and not testing that much because I already have, I already know how to get the results I want, basically. So I'm not as hurry as before and trying to figure everything out so I can play the games. I'm already on a very good spot. How's it going? Salt Fritted says, "Is Baldur's Gate 3 a 10 out of 10 game?" To be honest, I didn't play it to be able to tell you. I will still give it a try, but so many games coming that I really, really like. These Souls-like games are my favorite, so I didn't really play Baldur's Gate. How's it going? One Up World and Pareidolia. Hi, how's it going? Hey, how are you doing? I'm doing great, man. How's it going? How are you doing, Jax? Love Baldur's Gate. I mean, I felt that the game was special. The cutscenes and everything, the story did grab my attention. Uh, the first time I tried to play a turn-based game, so I play like 8, 9 hours, and I still have it there. I haven't opened it again. So after 8 hours, I'm not sure if I want to play the game. You know what? It's so long. It takes so much time. But I see that the game is special, so I will still give it a try. How's it going, Alan Card 1988? I'm doing great, man. I wonder if Insomniac will let us turn off ray tracing when it launches on PC. 100%. I mean, I would bet a house on it. No way a Spider-Man 2 comes to the PC and it has forced ray tracing. No way. It's just absolutely impossible. It's not gonna happen. It's like, imagine a game coming out that only has HDR, no SDR support, no conversion, or you cannot open the game. You need an HDR screen, or the game would not show a signal. That's not gonna happen. Okay, it might happen 40 years from now, maybe, but it's just not. I don't see that happening anytime soon. We have this Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition, but there's a normal version that doesn't require that ray tracing. So far, that's the only game where you need to have a ray tracing capable GPU to even open it. But for the PC, it wouldn't make any sense. It would. It's not gonna happen. And if it happens, it's just nonsense. I don't see it. Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition has forced RT on PC. Yeah, but there is a normal edition. That's the thing. So they can do that, no problem. But if you want to play the game without it, or you don't have an RT capable GPU, you can always just play the normal edition. But a game coming out that's just to open it, you need to have ray tracing. That's not gonna happen. There's just no way. Maybe, yeah. 10, 20 years from now. Basically, once all the GPUs on the market are ray tracing, basically, and turning on ray tracing is like, you know, anisotropic filtering 16x, something like that. It doesn't make any performance difference. It's the same thing. That's the only way. How's it going, Rezo Govi? How are you doing today, man? Sunday, there are no YouTube videos on Sunday usually. The channels that I subscribe to usually don't upload anything on Sundays, and I just want to play a game today. Didn't have time to do more testing. There's still some things that I want to cover, um, other than HDR settings. I think we're in a very good spot when it comes to HDR settings already. We need a rant video on this Alan Wake 2 PC requirements. Let me tell you this, man. This Unreal Engine 5 situation, and look, there's nothing wrong with the engine, okay? I'm playing a game right now that's Unreal Engine 4, and I'm happy with it. It looks very good, very nice. I like it. I'm enjoying it so far. I have no problems with it. The problem is the way the developers are utilizing it, okay? I don't care how much ray tracing a game has or how many, shadows or whatever you want to add to your game. If it looks blurry, and now my GPU, not only, I'm not talking about I have to lower the resolution and that's why it looks blurry. No, I'm talking about 4K DLSS quality or even 4K native with TAA. It looks bad. If I get a 4090 and now I get more frames of that, it still looks bad. That's what it just goes beyond comprehension to me that they don't see that. They don't say, okay, it looks bad. It doesn't matter if it looks blurry, it looks bad. They have to understand that. And it's incomprehensible. There are so many games I can show you. I mean, this game, Infinite Bright Memory, okay? Unreal Engine 4, it looks spectacular, okay? Absolutely amazing. Everything is moving all the time. It's not open world. It's a small developer. The scope of the game is a lot smaller. The sharpness of the game, it's just absolutely flawless. Looks amazing. Unreal Engine 4. So there's nothing wrong with the engine. There's nothing wrong with the engine. I don't understand what these developers are looking at. If it looks blurry, it looks bad. It's that simple. And the performance has to be there. It has to be there. Otherwise, it's just not acceptable. It's not ready. Not ready. Wow, we got a lot of comments. We need a rant. And what I was gonna say, and I lost my train of thought with the rants. Honestly, I would be doing rants every day. If I said, man, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this because, yeah, there's a point where I get, serious about it. See, I do a rant sometimes. I'm just having fun. Okay, I laugh at myself. Like I'm like wrong, and I do all that, all the stuff, and it's fun. But there's a point if you start, doing rants every day, it's just it becomes toxic at some point. And I like positivity, man. I want to make a video laughing like I did the other day, the Starfield video. I want to share some good tips, I don't want to be complaining all the time. And if I cover this nonsense that's going on right now, it would be a rant after the other. It's just absolutely absurd. The Alan Wake makes no sense. It's like my 3080 GPU to run that game at 60 frame will be 720p. Medium settings. No ray tracing. That's the other thing. It's not that ray tracing is the evil here. Even without ray tracing, it just absolutely sucks. Let me say hi to Mystic 1978. Hola, hermano. Long time no see. You have been really busy. Yeah, I've been making videos. I want to keep the channel growing, man. We are right now, the channel is on a point of no return. Okay, you cannot go back. So I'm not going to slow down no matter what. I'm gonna keep making videos, and I'm gonna keep it up. Try to figure it out. Keep discovering things. It's tough to discover something new every day, but the community helps me, so I think we can do it. Uh, so let me read some of the comments. So Rezo Go says, Plasma TV, I am great. I'm wondering if Marvel Spider-Man 2 PS5 is developed in Unreal Engine 5. No. Spider-Man is developed in the Insomniac proprietary engine. Okay? It's an engine that's absolutely amazing. I mean, it's the best. I mean, the best engines, there might be the Horizons, was the name of that engine, Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West and Death Stranding. What's the name of that engine? I forgot. Let me see if someone can tell me. Man, I forgot the name of that engine. That's one of the best for sure. Then we have this Insomnia proprietary engine that looks absolutely insane. It runs like the Decima engine. There you go. This Decima engine, Death Stranding, Horizon Forbidden West, Horizon Zero Dawn. It's just one of the best looking engines. And we're talking about great performance. Okay. Amazing looking lighting without even ray tracing, none of that. It just looks amazing. Okay. It's just absolutely amazing. So I wish this Insomniac proprietary engine was available for other developers, because if we start getting games now that they are all running like Spider-Man, man, I would be happy. Okay, it runs like Spider-Man, it looks amazing, it's spectacular. I mean, we can just enjoy the games. See, that's simple. So yeah, Unreal Engine, it seems like it is very good because thanks to Unreal Engine we get a lot of games. So we have to understand that. Okay, maybe all these developers wouldn't be able to do anything if Unreal Engine didn't exist. But it seems like it is challenging to get something working right on Unreal Engine, because we usually see stutters, traversal stutters, shader compilation stutters, and then when they try to push the graphics, for some reason, everything becomes blurry. I don't understand why. Games trying to push graphics, blurry. Red Dead Redemption 2, you see it on Uncharted. That's this Naughty Dog engine. I hate it. Okay, I understand why some people might think that it looks amazing, and it does. If you remove the blurriness out of the engine, that engine is just absolutely amazing. Okay, but it has forced TAA, and it looks so blurry. Even with DLSS, FSR, it's just horrendous, horrendous. So it seems like when they try to push the graphics, they have to do this temporal anti-aliasing more aggressive or something that makes everything looks blurry. I don't understand why, but the games pushing graphics, they look blurry. And that's the thing, and they perform like crap too. Even if you turn, the settings down, which is the worst thing. So yeah. ID Tech engine. Oh, the Doom Eternal. I mean, that's probably, is that the engine that Doom Eternal has? ID Tech engine? I'm not sure. But whatever that engine has, whatever that engine that game is using, Doom Eternal, that's just perfect. Okay, it's absolutely amazing, crystal clear graphics, performs like a dream. It's just no stutters. It flies. Okay, it's just incredible looking, that engine, whatever they're using. I also like the Snowdrop engine, what they use for the Division 1 and 2. It looks very good. So I am excited about Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. Yes, Doom Eternal's engine. Yeah, that game is just flawless performance, even without upscaling. It looks insane. That's what I want. Yes, ID Tech 7. is Doom Eternal. That's just amazing. No complaints. I will be so happy. And also, I don't understand why usually these first person shooters run so much better than third person. Because I don't understand why, because just having a character shouldn't punish the performance that much, just to have the third person character on the screen. So I mean, if we could have a game running and looking like Doom Eternal, and it was like, I'm not gonna say Elden Ring because Elden Ring is open world, but Souls like, even like Lords of the Fallen. Imagine Lords of the Fallen running like Doom Eternal. That would be a dream. Amazing. That's what I want. So yeah, Unreal Engine 5 so far, man, it absolutely sucks. And it is sad because so many games that I want to play are coming with Unreal Engine 5. Black Myth Wukong. Man, that game, I really want to play that game. I'm playing Lords of the Fallen anyway, but it sucks. It looks very bad. Very bad. Basically, I see no sharpness compromises almost using my plasma TV. Okay, there has to be a huge difference in sharpness in the quality of the image between my 4K OLED and my 1080p plasma TV. Okay, and I just don't see it. And on the plasma TV, I can max out the graphics, and it looks as blurry as on the OLED. That tells you that there's something wrong with that. Very wrong. Wrong. Okay. So yeah, let's see. Let's read some of the comments we have here. Oh, you're fired today. Plasma TV, what do you recommend to play a Spider-Man with VRR 120 unlocked frame rates with fidelity mode? Okay, let me tell you, 100%. If I had a PS5 right now and I was playing a Spider-Man 2 or the first part or any of the Spider-Man games, I mean, for that matter, any game based, almost any game, I would definitely, on the PS5, use the lock 60 FPS mode, OLED Motion Pro High on my LG C1. 100%, no doubt about it. And if you have a Samsung TV, I would use the Game Motion Plus setting, that low latency motion interpolation to go from 60 to 120. 100%. There's no way I would use the 60 unlocked versus that, just because 60 unlocked, yeah, you get a little bit less resolution based on Digital Foundry and their testing, but that's not why. The reason is from 60 to 80 frames, it still looks about the same. Now it looks inconsistent. So now you're getting up and down performance. That's very distracting. The best experience, the best gaming experience is a locked, rock solid frame rate. You do not want fluctuations at all. The reason why we have VRR is not to have a game running. When you look at the sky at 100 frames per second and then you're just playing the game, it drops below 60. That's not a good experience, okay? Or maybe you are playing the game inside a building, an interior place that is not as demanding, and then you go to the open world and then frame rate drops like crazy. That's not the best experience. That's very distracting. The reason why we have VRR is, okay, the game is running most of the time at 120. Like, let's say you have one of these TVs, 120 hertz. That's what the best you can get. Okay, the game is most of the time running at 120, and sometimes it drops to 110, 111. Okay, who cares? See, that's when VRR makes sense. Or even you're getting 60 and sometimes it drops to 59, 58, 57 sometimes, and you are not gonna notice that. Okay, but yeah, that's my opinion. I would definitely use 60 OLED Motion Pro High if you have an LG C1, G1, CX, GX, or just use or even a C2, C3, G3. Use OLED Motion at 60, so it looks double. It looks like 120. Definitely, that's how I would use that. I would never go VRR better than that. So that's what my recommendation would be. Let me catch up with the comments. I like to read all the comments, so you feel free to put down your comment. I'm gonna read it. Let me see it. So at the beginning, some of you were commenting, the best, the favorite game. Jack says a favorite experience this year by far, Baldur's Gate. For me, Lies of P. So far, game of the year for me. To me, the games that I like. I'm not. If I'm going to make a list and I'm gonna be fair with what most people like, I understand Lies of P is not for everybody. It's not easy. It's not that difficult either, but it's not for everybody. I understand that. But for me, Lies of P, number one game of the year. It performs very well. It looks good enough. The gameplay is awesome. Okay, I really, really like Lies of P. I think they knocked it out of the park. Starting by a demo that you can play and know exactly if you like the game or not, way ahead before the release date. The demo, on top of that, was good, so the developers got the feedback to improve the game for the final version, and they did improve the game. They changed the things that people complain about. That was just flawless. Lies of P, in my opinion, which is perfect development. It was just, that's how I would like all the games to be. Release a demo, let people play the demo. Like over 1 million people played the Lies of P demo. Get the feedback. Hey, I don't like this. This is not good. Whatever. Take your time, finish that, polish, and then get the game out. That's the killer strategy, in my opinion. And they did an amazing game. That's my game of the year so far. But I will give Baldur's Gate a try. Absolutely. I have played like 8 hours, but I'll keep playing it. See if I like it. So I'm not used to this turn-based strategy games. Clive Zero says, just playing through Metro Enhanced Editions, and it looks incredible. The caveat being, I'm using an RTX 4090 4K 120. Yeah, Metro, the Enhanced Edition looks very good. The ray tracing there looks very good. And it doesn't perform as bad. It's okay. I've used ray tracing on that version. It's okay. It's not like suddenly you have to play at 720p or something like that. PAQ says, welcome to the era of frame generation and dynamic resolution. We also need some CPUs that have not yet gone on sale. Yeah, the thing is, it is wrong to use upscaling and frame generation to get bare minimum level of performance. That's just wrong. Upscaling and frame generation is to crush FPS. Absolutely demolish. I mean, I'm talking about 240 plus. Okay. The problem is that these developers think that 60 FPS is the target. They are wrong. 60 FPS is not good enough. We do not have CRTs anymore. Okay. Or even plasmas. 60 FPS is not good enough. These consoles are capable of 120 FPS. Give me that. On the PC, target 120 FPS. Why that makes sense? Because most TVs on the market are 120 hertz. It's that simple. Okay. So if most of the TVs, most of the high-end TVs on the market are, or even monitors are 144 plus, okay, who is buying a 60 hertz monitor nowadays? Nobody. So why are you releasing games that almost nobody can run at 120 FPS just because of the CPU limitations? It makes no sense. Okay, they have to understand that 120 FPS is the minimum, is the target. Okay, and we want to use frame generation and upscaling to crush FPS. Okay, now there's a 240 hertz 4K monitor coming, no problem. Frame generation, you get 240 FPS. The input lag is good because your base frame rate is like 120, and you're getting a great, amazing experience. Okay, that's what they have to understand. 60 is not enough. We don't have CRTs anymore. I just don't understand why they don't get that. Yeah. Jack says, this might sound crazy, but My previously most hated setting, motion blur, improves DLSS to my eyes so much. Yeah, if DLSS has ghosting or this sharpness difference between when you're static and you're moving, maybe motion blur blurs all of that. Maybe, but in my opinion, motion blur is like, it's just, it is worse. It makes everything worse. But it is an option. I'm never gonna make a video and say you have to eliminate one option. Like, it's like some people arguing against having a non-ray tracing option for Spider-Man 2 on the PS5. If you like ray tracing, use it. They are working. They are giving you that option. I'm just saying a ray tracing off option would be the best, in my opinion. Okay. Now, if you don't want to use it, that's okay. Use ray tracing. No problem. I am all about adding options and features. So if you like motion blur, go for it. RE engine, Fox engine, and the Insomniac engine, all goats. The RE engine, that's the Resident Evil engine. I'm not so sure about that. It looks okay, but the performance and stutters, and I'm not sure about that one. Yeah. Beam up. How's it going? It says just run everything on Decima and Insomniac engine going forward. I wish, man, they should sell it. I mean, it's like Unreal Engine. Once you go over 1 million buys, you have to pay them royalties. Insomniac should do the same. Just sell the engine and let other developers use it. Death Stranding. You cannot wait for the next Death Stranding, says PAQ. I played Death Stranding for a moment. Man, the game looks amazing. It's so good looking. That's why I was playing it. But the story was not catching to me. I was expecting something completely different. You're on another planet. There's a motorcycle that looks amazing. I was expecting something completely different. And then the gameplay is like, you need to be very patient, and there's not a lot of things going on. And then you get a spectacular cutscene. It's such a weird game. But if you get into it, I see how you can really love it. The game looks amazing. Dennis says Uncharted on PS3 was so out of this world. Yeah, that was really the target. Uncharted looks very good. It's just so blurry because of that TAA. Jack says, I think it is TAA being the best anti-aliasing on top of developers clutching DLSS. TAA, the best anti-aliasing. I think the best we can do for aliasing is increase the resolution. Okay, that's what I want. I want AK, no anti-aliasing. Okay, 0. 120 plus frames. Is that possible? Yes, it's possible. Just depends on the game. So yeah, it is possible, man. It is possible. We can get that. That's just not what they're targeting. High Plasma TV for gaming. Did you check the new Luma native HDR mod for Starfield? I uninstalled Starfield. I couldn't play that game after so much roasting. I couldn't. I couldn't. I was playing and I was like thinking about all the problems and complaints and bugs and stuff. I didn't like the game. It looks so bad. It's just so disappointing. When you're expecting a game that is supposed to be incredible. We're talking about infinite planets and stuff. You see, it didn't live up to the hype, and the developers hype the game. See, if they just come out, here's the thing: if Bethesda comes out and say, hey, you know what, Starfield releasing next month, here's the game, I'll be like, okay, I'll give it a try. Infinite planets and all of that. But all the wait, all the hype, all the lies, and then you try the game, and it's like a washed out green color filter mess, and so many bugs, and the animations. It was tough. So I uninstalled the game. I didn't try anything else. I wasn't even going to make any videos about it. The only reason why I installed it and tried all of that was because people were asking me, "Hey, Starfield video," and yeah, I have a YouTube channel, so that's why I installed the game. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even tried. Uh, so yeah, Doom Eternal is great. Ray tracing 120 with a 3070. There you go. Doom Eternal is amazing. Okay. Chris D, how's it going? I just played Tekken 8 beta on Unreal Engine 5 and it looks very sharp to me. Yeah, nothing wrong with the engine. I don't know what the developers are doing. Why sometimes it looks so blurry. I just don't understand. I have no clue why. I mean, Unreal Engine can definitely look amazing. There's nothing wrong with it. It might be difficult to nail it, but figure it out. There's so much money behind these games. These guys that just need to figure it out. And sometimes you see an indie game that's on Unreal Engine, it looks amazing. It looks very good. One Up World says, we are gonna have to wait for an RTX 6090. Yeah, but then the 6090 comes out and then they increase the ray tracing. It's just never ending. They will keep trying to push the graphics, and I am okay with that. See, I am not against pushing the boundaries. Okay? That we need that. We need to push the boundaries. Now, what I am against is you come out with Alan Wake with ray tracing off, 720p medium settings on an RTX 3080 to get barely 60 frames per second. That makes no sense. Okay, no. Why? Because it looks very bad. Okay, if your game looks very bad on a very good PC that is better than the consoles, what are you doing? You have to release a game that looks good on the consoles. Why? Because maybe that's most of your player base. Okay, so you need to make sure that you're giving a good experience to most people, and then you get a PC to get it even better looking. That's my problem. It's not ray tracing. I'm okay with that. Cyberpunk, for example, is okay. It looks good, aside from the HDR. No, if you want to use ray tracing, yeah, it's very demanding, but you can turn it off and get very good performance. I have no issues with Cyberpunk. No stuttering. Cyberpunk doesn't stutter. I don't see any traversal stutters on Cyberpunk. It looks very good. So I don't have anything against ray tracing, but if you release a game that there's no way to get it looking good, that sucks. It's very bad. Now let me catch up with some of the latest comments and see. Wow, man, you guys going nuts. Um, yeah, let me see. Hey, how's it going? Sanchez Gaming. We know you're a Souls game player, Plasma, so no surprise you didn't like Starfield. I mean, there's nothing wrong with liking the game. The thing is, sometimes when I want to play a game, I do not watch any videos about it, because if someone just talk bad about it, then you're like, okay, I know the game sucks. So it's going to affect your judgment a little bit. And Starfield, is so much crap behind it that it was tough for me to even give it a fair shot. Oh yeah. But it might be a good game. I didn't try it. Basically, honestly, I didn't try the game. I couldn't. So if you try it, maybe if you give it a fair chance and you don't listen to the noise, maybe it's a good game. I just couldn't try it. Okay. Yeah, so you think that Starfield is a great game? Nothing wrong with that, man. I'm liking this game that I showed the other day. Is an indie game, and I like it a lot. It has so many bugs, probably more than Starfield. Well, no, that's different. But it has bugs and stuff. It's a low budget game, and I'm liking it. There's nothing wrong with it. Jonathan Silva says they are aiming for a controversial 7 out of 10. Man, that was funny, man. That Starfield video was so well made. I think they use AI for the voices because there's no editing you can do to have Todd Howard and what's the name of this? I forgot this Gamescom Jeff Keighley, Jeff Keighley and Todd Howard. It's impossible to edit. So they say what they said on the video. It was AI. They used AI to do that video, and it's just incredible. They knocked it out of the park with that video. Now, One Up World says VF5 is a legendary feature that we might never see again on LG OLEDs. Man, I hope it comes back. To be honest, I really hope that this feature, 120 VF5 OLED Motion Pro on LG OLEDs, I hope it comes back. Let me tell you something. If LG releases a QD OLED, okay, listen to this. Imagine an LG QD OLED. It's not that I'm an LG fan, okay? The thing is, honestly, LG, and if you ask TV calibrators, and I've seen all these calibrators talking about, the shootout, this form of videos, and Brian Tech and all of that. If you listen to the calibrators, you see that, okay, LG seems to have the best options, the best calibration controls and all of that. So and I love the settings that I have available. I love that I have this color control app on the PC that I can change whatever I want, even if LG doesn't let you. Okay. So if LG releases a QD OLED with 120 BFI, with this OLED Motion Pro feature, I would be all over it. Okay. And the reason is, yes, I'm not a big fan of the way the QD OLED looks under lighting conditions, but I do not play under lighting conditions. Okay. My only concern would be that even on a dark room, if you have something bright on the screen, that's still going to kind of make gray what is next right to it. So it might have a little bit less micro contrast, but here's the thing. Very simple. QD OLED is brighter. You can get a better BFI there. It's that simple. So if they can do this PWM and they do on the LG C1 to improve the motion clarity and you get a brighter picture with better motion clarity, with better color saturation that the QD OLEDs have, with better screen uniformity, I would be all over it. If it is LG with all the settings and all the options, that would be amazing. So I would definitely buy that for sure. Okay. And even better. So now imagine that QD OLED gets the phosphorus blue upgrade. So the back of the QD OLED is fluorescent blue. So all the OLEDs are blue and they are fluorescent. And that's wasting 75% of the energy into heat. Okay, so phosphorescent blue would be 100% of the energy into light. See, so if the QD OLED gets that phosphorus blue upgrade, and even better, it gets a 240 hertz upgrade. So we get 4K 240 hertz on a bigger 55, 65-inch TV, QD OLED with those quantum dot colors, and we get on top of that a BF5 option. That will be absolutely insane. Let me. Oh, my teacher is calling me. I have. It's not my teacher. It's my master. Okay, my guitar teacher. He's one of the best guitarists in the world. Okay, so he's calling me right now. Let me send him a text real quick. See what it is. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. So I'll leave it at 1 hour. So I'll finish it like in 20 minutes. Okay. Yeah, we got that taken care of. Yeah, I'm so lucky, man. Imagine, I'm a classical guitarist. I'm a musician. So imagine that I am living next to the best guitar professor, the best guitar teacher I can get on the US. And I'm talking about nobody. There's literally nobody in the entire country that can be a better teacher, a better master than him. And he's living right next to me. I am so lucky, man. Let me tell you, I come from Cuba. You know my story. I come from Cuba. I would say 10 years ago, I had it, of course, everyone wants to come to the US, but there's a moment when it clicks, when you really, realize, okay, I have to get out of here because this country, we don't have any opportunities. And then this professor, he did like a competition, like you have to record your video in a competition to try to get someone out of Cuba. And it didn't work out at the end. He was not able to get anyone out of Cuba because it's near impossible. Okay, it's just so difficult. But I did my video, I was very good, and he wanted to get me out of Cuba. We tried, it was not possible. But I was basically dreaming about being here in the US to learn from him for like 5, 6 years, just studying every day, you know, just to have the opportunity to maybe being able to be here in the US. And I was every day studying, every day, very hard, just for the opportunity. And now I am here living next to him. Oh, man. There's no money, no resources, there's nothing. There's no way I can buy this opportunity. See, just amazing. Okay, just amazing to be here. I'm so happy. So I'm fired. I'm fired up just to be here. I have so much energy because of that. And many other things. I mean, the US is amazing. So yeah. I answer my teacher basically. Um they should make a movie on my life. Not yet. Not yet. So the thing is you have to make it. Right now I feel like it's up to me. Like it is on my hands. The thing that is very sad for a lot of people is that they feel like they never had a chance. That's very sad, man. Like, for example, when I was in Cuba studying every day, I didn't have a chance. It doesn't matter. Like, if I am very good, it doesn't matter. I am not going to succeed no matter how good I get. And I was every day studying, doing exercises. I mean, look at this. I am engineer in telecommunications and electronics, black belt in karate. I train tennis with the national team. Okay. You've seen myself doing some pull-ups and stuff. I've always been active, like physically active. Then I play classical guitar, of course, electric guitar, all kinds of styles. There's no way I could succeed in Cuba. It doesn't matter. Like, can you imagine to have someone trying, like every day, trying, making a big effort? It doesn't matter. Like, imagine being in that position. It just literally makes no difference how smart you are. You know how much money I was making in Cuba? $10 a month. Just try to wrap your head around that. $10 a month. Of course, I had other jobs. I'm talking about just the main job that I had. Okay. Absolutely crazy. Okay. So there's a lot of people that they feel like they never had a chance. and that's very sad. So right now I feel like I do have a chance, and if I am good, I am going to succeed. Now I have to do it. I have to perform. I have to be able to get better, improve, and do it. Okay. And the other thing is, the thing that makes it a little bit challenging for me is that everyone believes I can do it. Okay. My professor. The reason why my professor, you know, give me his knowledge and give me classes is because he thinks I'm good enough. Okay. I couldn't pay that. Even if I have money, he doesn't have time for anybody. He sees me because he thinks I'm good enough. So the thing that's difficult for me is that everyone thinks that I'm good enough and I should be able to do it. And I feel sometimes like once I accomplish my goals, or some of them, because this never ends, then people, it's gonna be like, I told you so. And that sometimes is discouraging for me. For my mindset, it would be better if people tell me, oh no, there's no way you can make it. You're not good enough. Oh man, I would be fired if you tell me that. I would be fired. But yeah, it's the opposite. So I have to find the strength from other places. But yeah, uh, one upward says, and we have people born in the U.S. cursing the country and having no gratitude. They're just people here some people here in the U.S. they think they are poor. They have a poor mentality. That's where they are poor. They are poor in their minds. Everyone here is rich. You just don't see it. Like, you think you live on the ghetto and you have a cell phone, a car, you don't have a job, and you're collecting a paycheck and getting food stamps, and you think you're poor. That is just, it's just nonsense, man. This country is amazing. Just need to, the opportunities that are there, you just need to go for it. It is so worth it. Like, it doesn't matter what do you like. If you are good at something, you can have a great life here. You just need to be very good at something. And people give that for granted. That's not normal. There are some places where it doesn't matter if you're good. So just try to think about that. If you are good, you can make it. And that's not the way it is everywhere. So I'm very happy to be here. Very happy, very excited to be here. So let's go back into topic. Then he says, I'm from Brazil. El Brasil é o mejor equipo de futebol del mundo. PAQ says, the problem in the US is inequality. There is too much difference between the rich and the poor. I don't want to get, too much into it, man, but I think that's okay. If you're Elon Musk and you're smarter than most people, it's okay for you to have a lot of money. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. No issues with that. Okay. What I would like in terms of equal opportunity. Yeah, that makes sense. Give everyone the chance. If you're good enough, you can make it. I think it is, the opportunities are here, man, for most people. So let me get back into topic, man. See what we have here when it comes to gaming, HDR TVs, and all that kind of stuff that we like to talk about. We have so many comments. Let me try to catch up. I'm gonna read all of them, so feel free to drop your comment. Let me catch up. We're starting the live stream crapping all over Unreal Engine 5. It just sucks, man. I want to see a game that finally can use Lumen and Nanite perform very well, and I just haven't seen it. And a 59 is not gonna fix that. Okay, it just sucks. Okay, let's see where we are. I'm trying to catch up. Going back to the comments. So Tekken 8, that's where I was. Tekken 8. I can't wait for Nintendo to catch up to the PS5 gen, PS4 gen. Yeah, Nintendo Switch 2 is coming. But here's the thing. The Nintendo Switch 2 is going to have an LCD screen. Nonsense. Okay, they need to change that. If they come out with a Nintendo Switch 2 with an LCD screen, that's nonsense. Like, why would you do that? That's worst picture quality, period. It doesn't matter. It's just bad, man. It's nonsense. And also, OLEDs are maybe they can save battery because when you have a black screen, there's no light thrown to your eyes. So maybe the developers should think about that and stop having full white screens on the menus and all of that. Have full black screens, a lot of black screens on the game every time it is possible, so you get better battery life on the Switch with an OLED, perfect blacks, perfect contrast. Come on, they're just, I don't know what they're thinking if they release another LCD screen for the Switch. It makes no sense. I've played CS 2 days ago. CS, Counter-Strike 2. The game goes from 120 FPS to 85 for no reason on my PC. Is that Counter-Strike 2? I have to try it as a free-to-play game. From 180 to 85. But if it's suddenly, it doesn't stutter. Sometimes the multiplayer games, when you have a lot of people on the game, it becomes CPU demanding, and you might get those drops. I'm not sure if that's what you're experiencing. I will need to give it a try. Maybe I will install Counter-Strike 2 because it is one of the most played games on Steam, and try to, because everyone focuses on input lag and all of that because it's a competitive game, but try to focus on picture quality. What is, out of all these tricks that we know, what is the best option? Because we know it is a multiplayer game. Maybe you cannot use Major Pain the Cactus or whatever, but I'll try it. And if I get banned, it doesn't matter because I don't play it anyway. So try those tricks that we know and see what's the best picture quality you can get in Counter-Strike 2. Maybe it even supports HDR. Let me know. I haven't installed it yet. Crazy Gobi says, Plasma TV, what about... Okay, well, I answered this question. Okay, hey, Plasma TV for gaming. Did you check the new Luma native HDR mod for Starfield? No, I answered that. I didn't. Murad says, that haircut. No, just no, it's wrong. It's wrong. Yeah, what I do with my hair is I have my own, and it saved me $30 and time to go to someone to cut my hair. And what I do is I use the number 1 thing all over, and then I wait like 4 or 5 months, and then I do it again. It's very simple. So I just have to do it like 3 or 4 times a year, sometimes less. It's very easy because I don't care how I look too much. I mean, the amount of ladies we have on the channel is like 1%. Actually, it's a very small percentage. Let me see how many ladies we have. Let me look at the statistics. We have analytics here on YouTube. I can see how many, the audience. Just see, let me tell you the audience of the channel. So we have from 13 to 17 years old, 0%. Nobody watches the channel. 18 to 24 years old, 12%. 25 to 34 years old, 38%, 38.9%. So most people that watch the channel are like me, are my age. Then from 35 to 44%, 33.8% people watching the channel are from 35 to 44 years old. So that's the second highest. And then from 45 to 54, 11%, and then goes on. And we have female 0.7%. That. Did you hear that? My video goes away, but did you hear the audio? Let me know if you heard the audio when I did that. I'm not sure. I'm still new to a StreamYard. So yeah, most of the channel less than 1% are ladies. So I don't care too much about how I look. Oh, I forgot that I can do this, man. Let me do this. I can highlight the comments. Okay, let me do that. Let me read one of the latest comments. Oh, yeah. One up says, yeah, we heard it low. But my video goes away, right? Like when I do that, my video goes away. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Dennis S says CS2 supports HDR. Okay, but I think it only supports auto HDR. So auto HDR from Windows 11. You will need this command to test it out. Oh, it's very useful. R underscore full screen underscore gamma. Then you can use 2.4. It will look better. That's nice. Thanks for sharing that, man. I'll give it a try. So let me see. I'm going backwards. Let me go back to where I was with the comments. And I'm gonna start highlighting the comments. I forgot, man. I'm using StreamYard. That's why I'm using it, so I can have this feature here. Let me see where we are. Okay. One says yes, and it looks very sharp. Let me see. Dennis. Okay. What's up, Plasma? So it says, Poop Lord says, what's up, Plasma? Recently got the LG C1, and it is amazing. OLED Motion Pro High on 120 FPS really is that good. Brightness with full screen, bright colors is very dim though. Yeah. You see, the WRGB, it was a good idea to, because you get more brightness, but it really washes out the colors, man. It really washes out the colors. For me to get an LG C1 coming from a $25 plasma TV and feel like I was missing color saturation, that tells you a lot. And of course, I didn't know how to get the best out of it when I got it, but still, I know how to get the best out of it now. I mean, at least I know a lot better now. But it's still WRGB. Yeah, it's not the best, but it's great because we have perfect blacks. That's the thing. We have perfect blacks, and I absolutely love the way the screen looks on these LG OLEDs with this mirror black hole. It's basically it's so black. It's a mirror, so you have to be in a dark room to not get reflections, but it gives you some awesome blacks, awesome contrast, micro contrast. And for me, that's so important. That's more important than anything else. So when I think about a brighter, micro LED TV or something like that, I'm like, on a dark room, looking at the picture the way I am looking at, which is like 100% focus on the black level and near black visibility, because I learned that that's what makes the biggest difference. I cannot go back to anything that is not perfect contrast. So that's why I love this LG OLEDs, because of that. And I would like to see a QD OLED with this kind of screens. Like it looks like that, even if it was like half the brightness. I would love to see it. Like a QD OLED with a polarizer, half the brightness, 800 nits instead of 1300 or whatever. But with the screen looking like that, perfectly black, like a black hole in like a mirror. Okay, I would love to see that. One upward says, Dennis, yes, you can. If you have an NVIDIA GPU, you can use NVIDIA image scaling and set DSR factors to the internal resolutions you want in the NVIDIA control panel. Yeah, I use NVIDIA image scaling for games that don't support upscaling. It works very well, and it has a sharpness slider. So you basically get lower resolutions, so below your the resolution of your display, but those resolutions, they look better than if you just create a custom resolution. So because they look sharper, they look better. I like that NVIDIA image scaling for some games. I've used it a lot, and also you can use it in combination with DLSS. Look, but the thing is, if you use DLSS ultra performance and on top of that NVIDIA image scaling, it looks very, very bad. But and it is always better to use DLSS performance than to use, for example, DLSS quality and NVIDIA image scaling at the same time. You get a better looking image with DLSS. So yeah, I want to highlight this comment. Mustafa says, hey, the most stupid decision for gaming industry was to stop producing CRTs monitors for flat, stupid LCDs. 100% agree with you, okay? 100%. It was a crime against gamers to eliminate CRTs and against everybody, really, because CRT is an amazing technology, okay? I understand, for an office monitor, yeah, LCDs are cheaper, they are more environmentally friendly. That's okay. You don't need picture quality to be in an office, okay? Just doing web browsing or whatever. But for enthusiasts, CRTs, just keep improving it, keep improving it. At this point, can you imagine a 2023 CRT with the best of our knowledge and abilities? I'm talking about CRTs never stop and they kept improving it. 2006, 2008, 10, keep improving over it. Can you imagine how a CRT would look like in 2023? I mean, it would make almost every monitor for gaming silly. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Why would you choose that instead of a CRT? See, maybe HDR would be the only justification. 4K 240 HDR, better picture quality, perfect blacks. But when it comes to input lag, motion clarity, it would be no competition. No competition. I mean, CRTs are fantastic for gaming, absolutely amazing. They just needed to keep improving that or create this technology that they said it was supposed to be a flat CRT, SEC or something like that. That never happened for some reason. That's what we needed. We needed an improvement over CRTs with no drawbacks. Because even plasmas, we lost like 4 times the motion clarity just from CRTs to plasmas. So yeah, it was and then we sample and hold. The end game, okay, the end game is a 1,000+ hertz, HDR, perfect blacks, the most colorful picture, but that's just far away still. We're not there yet. We're struggling to get 60 FPS. So to get 1,000, we need a synchronous reprojection. We need a more aggressive, frame generation. So instead of doubling the FPS, we need to quadruple it. And they can do that, I believe. I mean, right now with FSR3, for example, if you have an AMD GPU and you can force the frame generation on the control panel of the AMD GPU, you can use a game that supports FSR3 frame generation. You can use that frame generation from the game, and also you can use it forced on the control panel. So in that way, you quadruple the FPS. Now, the thing is, it doesn't work right because right now, for some reason, that frame generation that you forced on the driver level is like variable frame rate, and it doesn't work with VSync very well. So it doesn't look right, but it is possible. It is possible. If they figure that out, so you can get that combination working, that would be great. So imagine you have a 480 hertz OLED. This is designed for very high frame rate, okay? That's how you get the best out of it. So imagine you get a 480 hertz OLED, which might be coming next year. There is a WRGB OLED coming that's going to be 4K, 240 hertz, and at 1080p is going to be 480, okay? So imagine you get a game with all the ray tracing and everything because it's just 1080p, that it is running at 120 FPS, okay? And then you quadruple that and you get 480. Okay. Now you have ray tracing, all the bells and whistles and all of that because it's just 1080p internal rendering up to 480 hertz. It'll be fantastic. So yeah, sample on hold, brute force, HDR, very high frame rate is the end game, but CRT would still be amazing. Um, and yeah, it is a shame that they eliminated that. For I don't care all the reasons, environmental, friendly, whatever the reasons are, wrong. How do I fix ghosting on my LG C1 while gaming? Ask Young Longevity. Fix ghosting. So ghosting is sometimes because of TAA. When you move the character, you see like the ghost of the character. Sometimes because of the upscaling, nothing to do with your TV. So if the game has ghosting, try to turn off TAA and see if that fixes the issue. Nothing you can do, I think, with the TV to fix ghosting because the ghosting is on the content. See, if you want to improve motion clarity, try OLED Motion Pro high at 60, 100, or 120 FPS hertz. That's how it works. Make sure you get 60, 100, or 120 solid, no drops, and try that. That's the best motion clarity. If you are playing a game at 120 FPS, rock solid with OLED Motion Pro high on an LG C1, and you see ghosting, that's not the TV, that's the game. That sucks. But the TV is amazing. The motion clarity is very good. Dennis Tess says, I think they didn't work on reflections the normal way. Maybe they only did it with ray tracing in the first place. That's why it doesn't have another option. He's probably talking about Spider-Man 2. The thing is, this is the third Spider-Man game on the same CD. So all of that work is already done. Even if they change the CD and all of that, it's the same thing. So the rasterized lighting and shadows and all of that is already done. And also Spider-Man doesn't have a dynamic time of the day. So to place shadows and all of that is a lot easier when the game is not changing the time of the day. That job is already done. Spider-Man 2 right now, it is, I'm sure it's like a click or two away for Insomniac to turn off ray tracing and let you have a performance mode without ray tracing. I'm almost sure about that because that job is already done. PAQ says, what I like most about my LG C1 55-inch is the true motion at 120 hertz. The resolution and color presentation in the plasma is very good. If the plasma were 120 hertz, it would be spectacular. Yeah, so two things there. For true motion to work, you need 30 hertz, 60 hertz for deblur and dejutter to work. So dejutter is for 24 and 30 FPS, low frame rate content. So dejutter 10 all the way. So then that works if your console is outputting 60 hertz and you have 30 FPS, it works. Or if your PC, on the console, they don't output 30 hertz. On a PC, 30 hertz, 30 FPS, it also works. Now, I recommend 60 hertz because you get a little bit better input lag. It sucks anyway, it's very bad input lag. But it is supposed to be a little bit better when you have 60 hertz output. 30 FPS on the game, dejutter, it works. For deblur, it works at 50 or 60 FPS hertz. So if you're getting 60 FPS, you need 60 hertz. 50 FPS, you need 50 hertz. Okay, deblur. So it doesn't work at 120 hertz output. So if you set the TV or the resolution, let's say I set on the video control panel 120 hertz 4K, and I cap the game to 60 FPS, the blur doesn't work. I need to have 60 hertz output for the blur to work, or 50 hertz 50 FPS output on the GPU. And the other thing is the plasma TV would be great at 120 hertz. Yes, it will be great. You will get better input lag. In terms of motion clarity, the plasmas have gray to gray limitations. So even when you have 4 milliseconds of persistence, the motion clarity is not as good. It's not minimum. You don't get the minimum motion blur possible with 4 milliseconds of persistence, which is based on the Blur Buster's law, 4 pixels of motion blur when moving at 1000 pixels per second. The reason is the plasmas have gray to gray limitations. So even if you got a plasma that's 120 hertz, the motion clarity might not be better. It might be about the same because motion clarity is limited by persistence. And in case of the plasmas, it is already limited by gray to gray. So getting a higher refresh rate might not improve the motion clarity, but it might improve the input lag. Maybe with the Neo plasmas, it would be better because they have better gray to gray limitation, better gray to gray. The responsiveness of the pixels maybe would make a difference. But maybe for most plasmas, 120 hertz wouldn't make a difference. I would like to see it anyway. I would definitely like to test that. Yeah, we need motion clarity, man. Sample and hold. This sample and hold displays and developers targeting 60 FPS, it's not good enough. Okay, 60 FPS in a 4K screen. Look at this: 60 FPS, 4K sample and hold. You have, imagine an object moving on the screen taking 4 seconds. Okay, so you have an object that's moving left to right on your 4K screen, and it takes 4 seconds. That's not very fast. That's like this. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's even slower than that. So when we're playing games, we move the camera a lot faster than that. Okay, so when you're getting 60 FPS in your Spider-Man with ray tracing, okay, you have 16 pixels of motion blur at best. Okay, if not worse. 16 pixels of motion blur when you're moving that fast on the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what that tells you is that 60 FPS is not enough. It looks very blurry. That's why people use motion blur, and they might like it. It's so blurry already that, yeah, you add a little bit more motion blur, you might get a little bit of a speed effect. So it looks faster to you or something like that. It's not good enough. So these developers need to understand 60 FPS sample and hold is not enough. Not good enough. We don't have CRTs anymore. Okay? On a plasma, it's kind of okay. It's not spectacular, but it's kind of okay. But on sample and hold, you need the maximum FPS for the refresh rate. And right now, most TVs that we have are high-end TVs that are the kind of displays that people use to play their games on their consoles and on the PC, the monitors. They are 120 hertz. So that should be the target. Okay? But what can you do? We have to first win the battle to eliminate 30 FPS. That's just not acceptable. Okay? A game at 30 FPS should not be allowed to be sold, basically. It doesn't work. It's like a broken game. Okay? So we need to first win that battle and then go to the 120 FPS battle, because and people that say that they cannot tell the difference, they just don't know yet. They will figure it out one day, and they will see the difference for sure. Dennis, I said, I got it. Yes, I have the NVIDIA card. The only problem is that my monitor thinks it is 4K resolution when I plug it into an HDMI cable. So when I do that, I can use DSR. I don't know what to do. So what you have to do with any of these TVs is you have to use upscaling, to use this DLDSR features from NVIDIA image scaling, to use all of that. With any of these TVs, you have to delete a resolution that comes with these TVs. which is the true 4K resolution. Okay, so when you connect your TV, you have to download the app. It's called CRU app. And with the CRU app, you want to delete this resolution that's 4096 by 2160 from the EDID, which is basically like telling your PC the resolutions that are available on your TV, basically. So after you eliminate that resolution from your TV, then DLDSR, NVIDIA image scaling, and all of that is going to work well. I have a video about that where I show how to do that. It's very simple. Download the CRU app, eliminate that 4096 by 2160 resolution, and then DLDSR, NVIDIA image scaling, all of that upscaling is going to work as intended. It's going to work well. Because what's happening is that those image scaling, DLDSR, they are defaulting to the highest resolution available. And then you are not using that resolution because that resolution is useless because it is 17 by 9 instead of 16 by 9. That's why it doesn't work. You are using 4K, 16 by 9 resolution, and those upscaling are doing it. The multiplication, the math basically with that higher resolution that you're not using. So it looks weird, it's stretched, and it is wrong. Yeah, that's what's going on. One Up World says 120 BF5 is a legendary feature that we might never see again. Yeah, I commented on that. I hope we do, man. I really hope we keep we keep getting them. Yeah, I'm never gonna sell my C1. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if I get another TV, I'm not my C1. I mean, of course, I'm keeping my C1. There's no way I'm selling the C1. No way. And actually, if I move somewhere else in the future, I will, and I cannot carry the C1 with me, I might go to the used market and try to find a bigger one, like a G1, a bigger 65 or 77 inch. So yeah, I will keep it as long as it lasts. Yeah, PAQ says, well, we will see higher frame rates with which BFI will not be necessary from 300 FPS plus. Yeah, we need 320 FPS hertz displays to beat the LG C1 motion clarity. Sanchez says he's playing Starfield. It's a great game. Don't talk bad about my game, man. I like it. That's okay, man. We like what we like. I just downloaded Spider-Man 2 and I'm playing tonight. Okay, awesome. I would be playing Spider-Man 2, but I don't have a PS5. I have to wait for it. You know what? I might get... I don't want to promise, okay, because it's all about timing, okay? And I might not deliver the PS5 to my home. I might deliver it to where I want to go. Because basically, here's the thing. I am traveling to see some friends, and they have some kids, and they have like 4 kids. So I want to give them a PS5, okay? So the thing is, it would be better for me to order the PS5 and have it delivered to another friend I have there. So I don't have to travel with the PS5 on the airplane because I don't want to have to pay for bags and stuff because I don't need it. But the thing is, if I do decide to travel with the PS5, I could order it, test it, and make some videos for the channel, and then just go and deliver it. So I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. I might get a PS5, and I would get Spider-Man, of course, for the kids. So, but yeah, I don't want to promise anything because I have to do what makes more sense. Because the PS5 is gigantic. That thing is, it doesn't fit on a normal bag, so I would need to pay, for a bag on the plane. I cannot have it as my personal item because it's so big. It's like a fridge. So the Xbox is the fridge. But you get what I'm saying. The PS5 is big, and the newer slim version, I think it's not out yet, and it's gonna be like sold out. You're not gonna be able to get it, and it's the same thing anyway. So I will get just the regular PS5. But yeah, that might happen. Okay, that is what I'm saying. I might get a PS5 basically, and I might try Spider-Man too. But for now, I have to wait until it comes to the PC. PAQ says, but for now, 120 plus BF5 is the best possible solution to not demand too much frame rate. Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's just a different experience. It's completely different experience. I'm a Souls fan. I like all the Souls games. One up says, okay, this is answering another question. Okay, it's funny. Okay, so it says, have you played through Armor Core 6 yet? I play Armor Core. I beat the big robot. I played like a couple missions after that, and then other games came, and I haven't played Armor Core again. I liked the game. The thing is, I couldn't turn off chromatic aberration, and that was bothering me to no end. Two things: that, and that you get a different picture when you move. It becomes blurry. So you have a sharp picture when you're not moving. When you start moving, you get a blurry picture. That is so distracting to me. I like the game, but I have it on the back burner. See if there's some mods coming that can remove that chromatic aberration. If you know, let me know, because I couldn't find it. A mod to remove chromatic aberration. For Elden Ring, I use flawless widescreen mod. So I have to check them because they update with new games all the time, and they should be able to fix it for Armor Core too. But I will play it. I just haven't played a lot more than that. After the big robot, like 3-4 missions after that. No Face says, man, your content is amazing. A real treasure for enthusiasts who want to get the most out of their displays in games. I think it's very important to focus in trying to get the best out of what you already have. See, because sometimes you're thinking on buying the new thing and the new thing and the new thing, and you might not be happy with what you already have because you are not getting the best out of it. See, so I think is very important to learn that, and I've learned with the community. That's why I do it. It is a pity, of course, that you have to get so twisted to get a good results, but at least there is such an opportunity, and it really works. All the best from a viewer from Ukraine. Well, thank you, man. All the best to you. Yeah, it's totally worth it. Totally worth it to figure it out and get the best results. Okay, so I'm gonna try to cover the comments. It will leave it at 1:30. We've been 1 hour 23 minutes. Let me see how many comments we have. Holy, we have wow, man. I am way behind. Let me try to go backwards. Mex Drago says, I use your motion settings for sports too. I can't believe sports are 60 FPS and 30 over the air. They are not even 60. They are 30. 720p 30 FPS. I just don't understand that, man. I think some streaming services I can't wait for sports are 124K. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sports. I mean, some movie enthusiasts are like, oh, 24 FPS is like the tradition, it looks cinematic or whatever. Wrong. Okay, you're wrong. If you think that 24 FPS looks better for any reason, you can tell me that it gives you like a dream-like effect because it's such a low FPS that everything looks like this. You're like a dream. Wrong. You are wrong. The higher, the better. No question about that. The higher the FPS, the better. And what I was going to say is with movies, maybe some people can be a little bit confused. They don't understand motion clarity. They might be used to that blurry mess, that stutter fest. It's not even blurriness. It's just stutters. It looks very bad. But for sports, absolutely nobody in the world, if they are still sane, they can say that the higher is not better. Okay, the higher the FPS, the better. That's undeniable, and there's no wrong. That's what I'm saying. Totally wrong. Okay, so with sports, nobody can argue with that. I mean, if we are like in a room, let's say, full of movie directors, okay, Hollywood. We're in a Hollywood conference right now, okay, and the sports topic comes up. Nobody there can say no. 24 FPS or 30 is better for sports, and get out of here. Get out of here. You're just so wrong. Okay, so sports definitely 100% have to be high frame rate. You can disagree, man. It's okay to disagree, but I believe you're wrong. Okay, totally wrong. If you think that 24 FPS is okay for movies, that's not right. But that's okay. I mean, ideally, you get a movie and you would have the options. You see, the thing is, if Avatar at 24, 48 FPS was like 80 gigabytes, I understand why we don't have movies at 120. But here's the thing, figure it out. I don't care. You cannot put the movie on a Blu ray. I don't care. Let me copy the movie to my PC, whatever. I don't care how much space it takes. That's not my problem. The cameras that they are using to record are 8K 100, not 4K. They are 8K 120. Okay, capable cameras. No, but the CGI would cost way too much money. I don't care. Figure it out. Okay, I don't know. Like, figured it out. It's just gonna be better. Kevin Swartz say, I've seen a video of comparison on YouTube of Jiminy Man 24 FPS versus 60 FPS, and I gotta be honest, I prefer the 24 FPS. Wrong. Wrong. You're totally wrong. Kevin says, I was about to buy an OLED, but my heart dropped after watching the dead pixels on an OLED after 3 years. So here's the thing, if you look close, any OLED has dead pixels. Like, do this. Go to a store with your phone camera. Of course, if you have like a recent phone, you can do zoom in and start zooming in on the screen. A lot of zoom. Again, on my phone, I can zoom a lot, very, very far. And so you see the pixels very close, and you will see a lot. You will see the dead pixels for sure. I'm talking about all the TVs on the store. You zoom in, you will see dead pixels. You will see, okay, we're missing something here. So it's all a matter if you can see it or not, basically. Maybe those dead pixels were there from the beginning and you didn't notice that. So if you start looking for defects, you're gonna find them. So, but maybe you got those dead pixels later. So PAQ says, why? Yes, with 60 FPS, you have more details in the moving image. One upward says, I remember playing 30 FPS games on my PS4 in 2016 and wondering why no one else says that gross double image stuttering affects when you move the camera. Yeah, because you have 60 hertz output and 30 FPS. And this is another thing people need to understand or know, that no matter what the power of the console is, if the console is capable of outputting 60 hertz or 120 hertz, you could be playing all your games at 60 or 120 FPS. Actually, the PS2 has a lot of 60 FPS games. Okay, I remember I always wanted to have a PS2. I never could. I had a PS1. I couldn't have the PS2 when I was in Cuba, but I had a friend with a PS2. Most of the games, they run at 60. And maybe even more games on the PS2 run at 60 than on the PS3, because they started trying to push the boundaries It's worse. Is worse. So yeah, you can get 60 and it would be better all the time. No question about that. The higher the better. Jason G. Tran says Avatar 2 was close to 60. It was like 50 frames. Yeah, it was like 48 frames. But that's still too low, man. That's not high enough. That still looks stuttery. So now maybe I understand if some people say, I don't like 48 frames because it looks weird. It still stutters. It's still blurry. It's still, you cannot understand what's going on. And now on top of that, it looks weird because it looks different to what I am used to. And on top of that, if you have a movie that is changing, that's a problem. You cannot change the FPS. You cannot be 48 FPS in one scene and then you go to another scene, it's 24 FPS. That's very distracting. Even people that don't know anything about gaming, performance, motion clarity, none of that, they realize, oh, okay, well, there's something weird with there's something weird going on here. I don't know what it is. I can't quite put my finger on it. um, but I was thinking on the Starfield video when Todd says, I can't quite put my finger on it. And you see the character, the eyes looking weird. So yeah, even people who don't know, they can realize there's something wrong with it. The FPS needs to be rock solid, otherwise it's distracting. Uh okay, Kevin, I'll read your comment. It's so I wanted to catch up, but it's so okay. So is this one? I plan to keep a TV for 8 years, 8 hours usage per day max. Do you recommend an OLED TV or QD OLED or mini LED or wait for another technology? I wouldn't be concerned about burning, man. It's not a problem. Okay, it's just not a problem. You see, look at the Artins videos when they basically determine that the issue can happen. With the way they were testing the TV, not letting it run the compensation cycles and all the protection mechanisms. When you turn off the TV, just make sure it is connected to the power so it can do its thing. But when it comes to, if you're going to bet on which TV is going to last longer, bet on LG with WRGB OLED simply because they've been doing it for over 10 years. Okay. And they have all this uh, protection mechanisms. I'm not talking about dimming. I'm talking about when you turn off the TV and it does its thing. They have that nailed. How often you have to do it, how much, and I would bet that LG might be it's gonna last longer because of that. But it's not because of the technology itself. It's not that. So, for example, if LG makes a QD OLED with the same protection mechanisms, or maybe fine-tuned for QD OLEDs, it might be better than what Samsung is doing, just because Samsung is not doing it consistently. Okay, so it's not a problem with the technology. What they are using on the back of the QD OLED is fluorescent blue. It's the same thing we have on the WRGB OLEDs. It's fluorescent blue. And of course, we have I think the green and the red are phosphorescent. We have the W, the white subpixel, and the blue, which is fluorescent. So maybe if you're concerned about longevity, wait until the phosphorescent OLEDs are here. But if we are always waiting, you're always waiting. See, you need to pull the triggers at some point, and I think that OLEDs are so cheap right now that it's just crazy. I mean, think about this. If you, depending on the screen size that you want, that's very important, because if you just want a 55-inch, think about the S90C next year. What's gonna be the price for that? $1,000, or on a big discount. I'm saying maybe $1,300. You can get it very easily, like $1,200, something like that. That's so cheap that I would not be concerned about burning or none of that. It's just, I mean, don't worry about it. But if you ask me to bet which one is gonna last longer, LG OLEDs with WRGB, because of that, they have their experience with that. That's what I would say. Uh, I know I jump a bunch of comments. I'll see if I can go back and read them. We're over 135 already. I'll do my best. Okay. Constantine John says, John Wick, Reeves, AK movies, even 4K video requires crazy power and a lot of time, especially when it comes to CGI. Yeah, the thing is, I'm talking about what is the best. What they have to do, they have to figure it out. Here's the thing. The problem, in my opinion, is not that to release a movie at 120 AK takes too much space. That's not the problem, in my opinion. The problem is that these movie directors, they believe that 24 is better. That's what the problem is. Okay? Maybe because if you record John Wick at 120 FPS, you are going to realize that Keanu Reeves is not a UFC fighter with a lot of skills with weapons. You will realize that it looks fake. So now you need to do it better to be more convincing. Okay, it's just what it is. If it looks fake, it is. Do it better. You see, that's where the problem might come, because they imagine 24 FPS, John Wick, moving the camera like this. You don't know what's going on. You don't see anything. It's a blurry stutter mess. So now if you do 120, they have to do it better. Maybe that's where the problem is. So it's not a matter of technology. The technology is there. It's a matter of the way they do cinematography and their vision of that. That's the thing. But it would be better for sure. Like, imagine this. You have a movie with a fighting scene with two UFC fighters actually fighting and punching each other in the face and getting paid to do so. Wouldn't that be better? Yes, it would look real because it is. Okay, you cannot fake that. Wouldn't that be better? Absolutely, 100%. That's gonna be better than a fighting movie where you don't see anything. It looks fake because it is. So you just need to hire UFC fighters. It's that simple, and pay them. They fight for $25,000 when they're getting started. Pay them, and just do the fighting scenes with real fighters. If you're an actor, you cannot do a fighting scene because you don't want to get punched in the face and get blood, real blood, and all of that. 24 FPS cannot fix that. It's fake, and people just cannot see it because it looks so bad. Eric says, do you know if BFI high at 60 hertz on the C1 increases input lag? And if so, how much? Yeah, it does increase input lag. It should be like, I tried to test that one time, and it was like 12 milliseconds in my testing. So the way I tested this was using the Smooth Frog test suite. There's an input lag test that is basically a game that is running at 1000 FPS, and you can use your mouse and you can realize, basically you say, okay, let me play this game. 10 milliseconds of latency. Tell me which one has the latency and which one doesn't. And you have to be right a certain amount of times. If you are able to tell the difference, then you are able to tell the difference. So what I was doing was testing that and switching back and forth all in Motion Pro. And I think it was like 12 milliseconds what I was, like a rough estimate, basically. But I wouldn't be concerned about the input lag added with BFI, just because the render latency is a lot higher. Okay? So if you have to get 60 FPS locked all the time, your GPU should be below 85% utilization most of the time. And that by itself improves the latency already. Okay? So things they balanced out. And it's almost irrelevant. The input latency added by the TV is almost irrelevant. It doesn't make any difference. People are so focused in input latency because most of the content on YouTube revolves around that. So it's like input lag, FPS, how many FPS? And you see the benchmarks and you're getting 80 FPS and 90 FPS, or If you're getting 80 or 90 FPS and you have an LG C1, you cap the frame rate to 60 and you use All-Emotion Pro High. Okay, that's a better experience. No question about that. There's no way I would play a game getting 80 to 90 FPS or even 100. If it goes to 100 but it drops to 90s or 80s most of the time, lock to 60. That's the way. The 60 FPS remove judder. Yeah, 60 FPS. So when you have 30 FPS, you have judder. So you have a stutter all the time. 60 FPS makes that a stutter a smaller. So a smaller stutter is called motion blur, basically. So you get motion blur at 60 FPS. Plasma for SDR games. Would you still recommend the SDR HDR trick with near black calibration settings for BF5? Or is the Gamma 2.2 ICC profile a better option? Yeah, it's a better option. So what you can do, yeah, I no longer recommend the SDR HDR trick using the black level settings on the TV. Also, all that theory, the theory behind that trick was wrong. Okay, it worked, but what I thought, basically, this explanation that limited inside full, that was wrong. Okay, it's just not that's not the case. The problem was the Pierce-wise sRGB curve forced in 2.2 gamma games. Okay, so the ICC profile is the best option for the SDR HDR trick. And if you are using All-Emotion Pro High, what you can do is use dynamic tone mapping, and then you can increase the visibility near black even more with a 22-point calibration. I have a video like that coming. I am trying to see which option is which major paint deck access with which of the three shaders to do the tone mapping is the best to get the brightest BFI. And on top of that, I'm going to calibrate it with the TV settings if necessary. But that's the other thing. When you fix the source, you don't have to calibrate with TV settings. So I'm trying to focus on fixing the source. Okay. So in that way, it's going to look better. And it's going to be easier to calibrate than just using TV settings. So yeah, I have videos about BFI coming. What's the absolute best option? I'm always hunting for that. So that will come for sure. Chris D says, developers like to push visuals, and most people on consoles don't even complain about 30 FPS. People that don't complain about 30 FPS are kids. They don't care. And yeah, if I cannot say because they don't know better, because if you have a PS5, you know better. If you play Call of Duty at 120 FPS, you know that looks better. So they know better. Maybe they're not focused on that like we are. But you can play what you can get. If you want to play a game that's 30 FPS, but you really like the game, what are you gonna do? Not play it? I do that sometimes. If the game doesn't look good enough, I don't play it. Like I didn't play Remnant 2. I really wanted to. Okay, I really wanted to play Remnant 2. I haven't. I'm waiting for it to be fixed one day so it performs good enough. But yeah, other people, they don't do that. They just play it. They get what they can get. I can't believe people are happy with 40 FPS modes in some PS5 games. Even 60 FPS looks bad on 4K 120 Hz TVs. Yeah, I totally agree with you. 40 FPS is a lot better than 30, that's for sure. But less bad doesn't make it good. So, but again, people use what they can. I mean, those games that have the 40 FPS mode, they have a 60 FPS mode. So I don't see any reason to use that. But yeah, it is what it is. And also that 40 FPS mode, if you don't use VRR, if you have 120, so for a screen that doesn't have VRR, if you have 120 Hertz output, 40 FPS in your game on the PS5 or any place, you're getting triple images. When you move the camera, everything looks triple, not double, ripple. So on an OLED with a fast response time, everything looks like 3 times. It's a mess. It looks very, very bad. If you use VRR, it's kind of okay. But if you're gonna use VRR, you better just unlock the FPS and get it a little bit higher. Although I'm gonna say it is better, like it's Spider-Man 2, for example. If you ask me, would you rather play 40 FPS locked or 40 FPS unlocked with VRR? I would say it depends. If I am getting 60 most of the time and then it drops down to 40, maybe. But if it's just like 40 to 50 frames and then I'm having an inconsistent performance, I much rather lock the FPS to 40 to not get distracted when the FPS drops. See, because then you're playing on an interior place, it might look good, and then you go out and it's 40. It's gonna, the difference is what is really distracting, really. So locked FPS is always the best if you can get it. Can you imagine projecting a film with classic celluloid at 120 FPS? I've never seen that classic celluloid. I don't know. I'm new. I don't know the stuff, and I'm new to the US too. Like in Cuba, you get what you can get. You cannot, have access to all this cool stuff. So Chris D says now you also have a 40 FPS option for games like Spider-Man 2. Yeah, the rolls of film would be 2 tones. You mean because I get it. You're just saying basically like the old like rolls with a film, like 120 FPS movie would be like gigantic. I get it. Chris D says if developers will target 120 hertz and high resolution, we would have one generation behind on consoles. PS4 quality games on PS5. Yeah, and that's better. 100%. It's a better experience. It's a better experience. Like I would not be interested at all in playing a game that right now I can get 30 FPS only. And DLSS, so imagine that I can play a game right now that's a 2028 game. So it's a game that is 5 years from now, okay? But now it runs with DLSS performance at 30 FPS on my 3080. I am not interested in that. That looks like crap. I don't care how much ray tracing it has or whatever. It's going to look very bad. It's unplayable. I am not interested in that. I wouldn't play it, okay? If the game cannot perform, it is not ready, don't do it. If you have a PC, you can download Unreal Engine 5 and start trying all the features, and you will realize that it doesn't matter which PC you have, which GPU, you can very easily tax the GPU and the CPU resources very easily. You just watch a YouTube tutorial of Unreal Engine, and you will see that if you start just putting some assets and stuff, you kill the performance. There is no talent in killing the performance. The talent is make your game look amazing and perform very well. That's where the talent is. See, I might do that. I might do that one day. Install Unreal Engine 5, watch a YouTube video to learn how to make that taxing and show you my 3080 cannot even get 10 frames per second at 1080p. Okay, 10 frames per second at 1080p. It doesn't take any talent to make a game demanding. That's what we need to understand. The talent is making it run well, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, there's a game. I was watching a video yesterday from a YouTube channel. This called the name of the person is like Owen. Daniel Owen YouTube channel. He was talking about a game that is going to be released even when the developers recognized that the performance was garbage. And with a 4090 at 1440p, it was like high settings or something. It was struggling to get 60 FPS. Okay, that's not ready, and the game looks like garbage anyway. It's just not ready. Okay, this is just something that we need to understand. Kevin asking, did you watch the UFC 294? Your thoughts? Yeah, I did watch it. Um, man, the main event sucks because you see that these UFC fighters, they can all beat each other in any given day, and yeah, I just don't like situations like that. Like not a lucky shot, but yeah, I mean, head kick, boom, you're almost knocked out because you don't know how that fight is was gonna go. See, I mean, it's totally fair. If you get knocked out, you lose. I understand that, but if that fight plays out where you can see, okay, this fighter was dominant, you see that he was better. That's like then they're not gonna fight again. And I am, in my opinion, Volkanovski is better than Islam, in my opinion, from what I've seen. And the first fight, Volkanovski won clearly to me. I was like blown away, like what? So yeah, and then I was very impressed with Kamaru Usman. I think he did a great job. So yeah, against the hype train, because Chimaev. So I think Kamaru did a great job, and he almost got a tight on the fight. Basically, I think he won round 3 for sure, maybe round 2. And the first round was not a 10-8 because to be a 10-8, in my opinion, no, that's just the rules. The fight needs to be eligible for stoppage. So the first round was not eligible for stoppage, in my opinion. So if you give it a 10-9 to Chimaev on or on the first round, then Kamaru wins 2 and 3. Kamaru won the fight. But that's with the scoring system. But if you just really look at the fight without following the rules, you see that okay, Kazmat was better and he deserved to win. That's my opinion on that. And the previous fight, that just sucks. I mean, what happened there just absolutely sucks. I mean, that rule that like an illegal knee, if you have your like a grounded opponent, illegal knee, that rule doesn't make any sense. One championship doesn't have that rule, I believe. And you cannot ask these guys to be following too many rules when with the things that they are allowed to do, like the 90-degree elbow, like that rule just doesn't make any sense. Like these guys, what they do to each other, you cannot expect them to have any kind of rational thinking when they're fighting like that. So what happened there just absolutely sucks in every way. um yeah, I didn't like to see that. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the UFC. I like him. I'm black belt in karate, and I was not happy when I had to compete. I didn't like to fight. Didn't like to fight. But on the other hand, it was very like you feel very calm. If you are a fighter, you have to compete. That is so stressful. That situation that when you go out to the world and do your thing, you feel so in peace. Like this is like life is easy because fighting is so tough. And not just to compete, to go to the gym every day and do what they do, that's tough. So yeah, these guys are absolutely insane. I just I just cannot even comprehend how crazy they are because I was not competing on television with those rules. That's just insanity. These guys are crazy, absolutely nuts. That's why it's fun to watch. um, okay. Let's see what else we have here. Uh, this is to my comment to John Wick. Of course, cinematography is an artistic art. It is not a reality. I think 24 FPS is part of it. Yeah, if you look at it as a form of art, yeah, you can have a movie at 10 frames per second. It might look artistically better to you, to them. Totally fine. I just think it would be better if it looks more like real life because it would be more immersive. See? And definitely sports. I mean, that UFC at 30 frames per second makes no sense. You can barely see what they're doing there. They are moving so fast, you have no idea how fast they are moving. And you cannot see that on camera. You literally cannot see that on camera. At 30 frames per second, you are not seeing anything. Anything. That's very bad. um, okay. Let me see. Let me try to catch up with the comments. If there's any questions, so we can wrap up the stream because I have to go. Partly understand people. Bettler says, "Sorry, I'm late, but Unreal Engine is so bad. What happened to the tech demos on the PS5 and PC Matrix tech demo? The promise of better graphics requiring less GPU power with nanite. The Matrix tech demo was awful. That looks like garbage to me. Very, very blurry, terrible performance. I didn't see anything on that tech demo that made me happy at all. All the opposite. That tech demo was for me like, this absolutely sucks. What's coming is gonna be very bad, and it was. Okay, Noel, you're saying don't miss my comment. I think it's good. It's a good question. Okay, Noel, let me see, where is your comment? I try not to miss any comments of it. It's tough. Let me see. Where is your comment? Okay, this is your previous comment. Outside of one Sony TV. I don't know which comment you're referring to. Okay. Okay, let me go to the last comment. Try to go backwards a little bit until we get to 2 hours. We have like 3 minutes. No, I was asking your thoughts about the 6000 nits Hisense. I heard that Hisense is, was it Hisense? Sometimes they are advertising 6000 nits and it's not. It's gonna be like maybe 4000 or something like that. Brighter is better, and the most impressive thing in terms of brightness is not the highlights, it's the full screen brightness. So my question is, how bright full screen are those TVs? 1000 nits, 1500? That's what's gonna be more impressive than small highlights being brighter. So it would be great. I would like to have it for sure. I would like to test it. The thing is, you know, perfect blacks, perfect contrast with OLEDs. That's just better, man. Like, I think even if you don't have that much brightness, full screen or the highlights, perfect contrast is better. So for me, still a QD OLED or a WRGB OLED is still gonna be better picture quality. But brightness, when it comes to a really bright scene with that full screen brightness, especially, that would be very good. But that's what I would be more interested in. What is the full screen brightness with a warm color temperature, basically? That would be my question. PAQ says high frame rate, everything. Absolutely. All the time. Yeah, some people think for sports only. For movies, you just have to get used to it. No, you will see after the day will come and you will compare. I mean, imagine this. It's very simple. Imagine you get a movie with options. You have the option 120, 60, 48, 30, and 24. Are you going to choose the 24 FPS option? I don't think so. I try it. I strongly believe that there's no way anyone would choose. If you were given the option, why would you choose less frames, less information, less fluidity, less clarity? Why? Oh, because when I use 120, the movie looks fake. Well, that's because it is fake. If it looks bad, it's because the movie's bad. Okay? Now, if the fighting scenes are very good because you have two UFC fighters there, then it is very good. And you can see it. At 24, you cannot see if it is good or bad. See? So that's my opinion. And I think I'm right. Like we all think we are right, of course. Um let's see. Uh okay. Uh Hi all. We have a black level raised in Robocop. Robocop. I saw the game. It's like first person shooter. It looks very slow. The weapon is so slow on camera. Um, I don't think maybe it's a good game, but I might give it a try. Um, Somebody Noel P asked me, should I get a C148-inch refurbished to replace my TCL 6 Series 55? Well, I don't know about refurbished. Um, if it doesn't have any issue, um, yeah, it's gonna be better for sure. I have a TCL 55 S55, something like that. I forgot the model number. Um, yeah, it doesn't come even close to. It's like 350 nits. Very, very. It's not a bad TV for gaming. It's not even close. It's like it's coming with built-in motion blur at 60 FPS. It looks like 60 FPS on my OLED with motion blur. It's like it has built-in motion blur for those who love motion blur. You don't even need to turn it on the game. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if yours is 120 hertz or the quality of that TCL 6 series, but the C1, if it works, it's refurbished. But if it works and it doesn't have any issues, absolutely, that's gonna be a great upgrade. Okay, let's leave it there. I missed a lot of comments, man, because okay, yeah, Dale says it's a CPU problem though for City Skyline. That's the game I was talking about. I thought I saw on the Daniel Owen YouTube channel. Um, I mean, the way that engine uses the CPU. Yeah, but what the thing is, you're the gamer, really. Like we do like to know, what's the problem? Is it the CPU, the GPU, or whatever? But as a consumer, like I shouldn't care at all. Like, give me a game, it looks good, it performs well, it looks good on my screen. If it doesn't, I don't care. Figure it out. You know, if it's CPU or GPU, that's the developer's problem. They have to fix it, and it's like broken. It shouldn't be allowed to be released like that. 60 FPS, 1440p on a 4090, that's nonsense. Absolute trash. That's not worth it. So yeah, let's leave it there, man. I missed a lot of comments, but I have to go. I have to go. So thank you for tuning in. It was great. Ariel, when you can make a video to have the Windows desktop and HDR with true motion high R120, respecting the color of the SDR as much as possible. The true motion doesn't affect the picture. It doesn't change anything to use true motion. To use BFI does make things darker. I have some BFI settings coming. So wait for that for sure. 100% white, 700 nits in a dark room. Yeah, I'm not sure what you were talking about, but 700 nits. Okay, I have to go. Have a good one. I have someone calling me. Have a good one.